put a finger down if your husband ghosted you for 48 hours and you're financially reliant on him and you only had $13 yesterday and you texted him to give you some money and he literally just ignored you the entire day and you called him and you ignored him. And, I mean, he ignored you. And so then you went on his computer and you logged into his bank account to send yourself some money, because I usually don't have access to his bank accounts, but his computers were his passwords were saved on his computer, so I was able to get in and finally send myself some money. And then you still couldn't get in contact with him, and then he comes while you're not home and takes all of it, moves all his stuff out, and you still don't know where he is.
So basically, okay, dang. So basically he just left. So basically he did the same thing that most women do to guys. Got it.
And he's like literally missing from you, like you don't know, you basically got abandoned. And he moves his truck and everything, his truck, his car, to his dad's house, and you still don't know where he is. So you pull up to his dad's house at 1 a.m. Well, actually, I forgot to mention that finally at 7:59, his dad sent you money on Venmo. And then you show up at his dad's house at 1 a.m. and you ask to talk to him, and his dad says he's sleeping, try again tomorrow.
I'm not gonna lie, if she's anything like how she's doing in this video right now, which is like going on and on and on and talking, I know it's for the sake of the video, but if she's anything like that all the time, I see why he left. He shouldn't have left. If you're gonna marry a woman, you should. If you took your vows and married a woman, y'all gotta stick it out. Otherwise, you gotta think about that stuff before you get married. But I'm just saying, I understand the logic, even though it was wrong. He shouldn't have did it, but he shouldn't have did it.
And not to mention, he took the other dog, so now like your dog's lonely, and he's not legally allowed to do that because there's no separation in order. But anyway, so then you show up at his job this morning, like to finally, and ask him to talk, and he literally says, okay, like it's gonna be a minute, and so then you sit there and you wait, and he brings his manager over, and he literally says to you that it's a private matter, so it has to be handled outside of work. But you've been trying to contact him for 48 hours, and he says he'll get to you after work.
Isn't it interesting how in these types of situations, a person telling the story always is right? You ever notice that? The person who's telling the story is never their fault. It's always the other person's fault. Of course, the saying says there's two sides to every story. There's their side, the other person's side, and there's the truth. I kind of don't like that because that's not always how it goes. But I understand, because basically people are going to basically, what they call it, exaggerate or add details to. They're going to make it different than what it is to make themselves look better. So even if a person telling the truth, they're going to omit something just for the sake of making themselves look better in the story, so that they don't get criticized by the person who they're telling the story to.